Today I'm starting a new series of videos called What to Do with Your Discarded Sourdough Starter. You know me, waste not, want not, and I'm going to show you how to make an easy and delicious flatbread. Hi sweet friends, my name is Mary and welcome to Mary's Nest. This channel is all about living the simple life by cooking from scratch, making home remedies, and creating a cozy home with charming thrift store finds. So if you're like me and you like living the simple life, subscribe to my channel and click on the little notification bell that'll let you know every time I upload a new video. Now this really couldn't be easier. All you need is a baking sheet, cover it with something just to keep everything neat and clean. I like to use parchment paper, but you can certainly use aluminum foil, whatever you have on hand. And then you're going to need 2 cups of your sourdough starter. I always have a lot. I make a lot because I like to bake with it, actually bake with the discarded sourdough starter. So I've got 2 cups of the sourdough starter. I've got a half a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. You can mix this up any way you want. You can use different seasonings, you can use onion powder, you can use herbes de Provence, whatever you want. Those of us who keep a sourdough starter going on a daily basis know that we have to scoop some out which needs to be discarded in order to feed the sourdough starter with new flour and water to keep it going and keep it alive and nice and bubbly. But the problem is, at least for me, I don't like to throw anything out, and I hate the thought of throwing out my quote-unquote discarded sourdough starter. So I've come up with a lot of different recipes to use what would normally be my discarded sourdough starter. Now this is my starter here, which I just fed, and this here is what would normally be my discarded sourdough starter, and I've got 2 cups of the discarded sourdough starter in this bowl. I make a lot of sourdough starter because for the very reason to have plenty of discarded sourdough starter that I can bake with. So as I said, I've just got 2 cups of the discarded sourdough starter in here, and to that I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. You can put in any seasoning you want. I'm using Italian seasoning because I'm making chicken piccata for dinner, and I thought a nice Italian flatbread would go lovely with it. And then here I've got a teaspoon of garlic powder and a half a teaspoon of sea salt. That's it. It really couldn't be easier. Then all we're going to do is take our spatula here and mix this up to get all the spices and the salt well incorporated. Now all we're going to do is just ladle out some of this starter onto our baking sheet, just into kind of an oblong shape, and we'll just make 3 of these. I think that this will be enough batter for 3. Couldn't be easier. And I'll just finish this up, and then I'll show you what we'll do next. Now I've got my 3 flatbreads, and all I'm going to do now is just take a little bit of olive oil and just sprinkle it across the top like this. That's all we're going to do. And get a little more over on this one. Perfect. Now what I like to do is take a little bit of the flaked sea salt and just sprinkle it on top. If at this point you also want to add some extra herbs on top, you can certainly do that. But I find that the herbs mixed into the sourdough starter are sufficient and just give it a wonderful flavor. So I don't really feel any more are needed. But after you make this once, then you'll get a feel for what you like. But I love putting this flaked salt on. It really is nice. But you can certainly use whatever salt you have. Alrighty, now we're ready to get ready to put it in the oven. Now what you want to do is you want to put it on the lowest rack in your oven. Now I've got a pizza stone. That's what I've got here that's covered with aluminum foil. And I'm just going to put it right onto my pizza stone. But if you don't have a pizza stone, that's no problem. You can put it right on your lowest rack. Now I'm going to bake that for about 20 minutes. Or at least that's when I'm going to check it. Sometimes it takes about 25 minutes. It really depends. So you want to just keep your eye on it. When it starts to get a little brown around the edges and looks fully cooked, you're all set to take it out of the oven. Well, I just took these out of the oven and they smell heavenly. And I just wanted to show you what you're looking for. They took about 25 minutes at 425, and I liked them to get a nice golden brown crust around the edges and then just a nice golden coloring on top. And they're going to be perfect. I'm going to let them cool a little, then we'll slice into them and you'll see how crispy they are. Now what I like to do is slice them up with a pizza cutter. Just going to put them on a little bit of an angle here, and I'll just take this pizza cutter and just go right in. Here it's very crisp. It's going to be delicious. If you'd like to learn how to make a sourdough starter, be sure to subscribe to my channel and then click on this video over here where I show you how to make my foolproof sourdough starter. And I'll see you over there in my Texas Hill Country kitchen. Love and God bless.